that way, but yeah.
Just to get into it, look, the US government and SEC has been investigating Binance for a while. It's not a known secret, right? They've been knowing that. And what they basically found was in expanding to the US market, well, bless you, Binance blatantly didn't put rigors and processes which basically allowed and facilitated for money laundering and illegal activity in that particular regard, which included facilitation of stuff like from terrorist organizations such as Hamas or like all this sort of stuff.
Due diligence in place. Gotta make sure that, you know, we're not doing the basic thing of helping baddies. Yeah, that's
from the very beginning, CZ and other Binance executives had engaged in a deliberate and calculated effort to profit from the US market without implementing the controls that are required by US law. The US attorney identified millions in transactions from the US to Iranian users in Syria and Russian-occupied Ukraine, and terrorist groups, including ISIS. Binance willfully enabled hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions between American users and users subject to US sanctions. Its platform accommodated criminals across the world to use Binance to have stolen criminal funds. This is intense. This is pretty...
That's like a rap sheet just then. Like, that was like, the SEC wouldn't let me be because of all of these reasons why.
Yeah, like...
It's a bit bad.
So look, cryptocurrency and all that, like, all right, we had Sam Beckman-Fried, and like, I'm pro the concept of cryptocurrency, but we keep on having these bad actors.
Bad actors?
Yeah. So an actor is an agent. So Sam Beckman-Fried is an actor. CZ is an actor.
Wait, is this a crypto term?
No. It's a general term. So we have these bad actors. Yeah. We have these bad actors that are like at least a public representation of cryptocurrency, whereas
the figurehead, the spokesperson.
Yeah, actors, right? Like
figurehead is a better one.
Right? It's actors, right? And I can't help but think that there's definitely good aspect. I mean, here's my irony about it, right? The good element about how this would have been tracked is like part of the blockchain and the ledger enables it there. Whereas in stuff like, and that's why people that are doing dubious acts, I mean, the biggest currency that like we were having the conversation that facilitates terrorism acts is the US dollar, and people do it in cash and stuff like that. So it's not tracked, right? In cryptocurrency, in the blockchain and the ledger, there are tracked elements of this, which is why it's not that you can run from it, but they were able to ascertain which countries that these were going through and blockchain, and they were able to drill it down to blockchain addresses. You're laughing.
No, because that just genuinely feels like they knew the answers because of the cheat sheet, and then they let the cheat sheet get in the hands of the teachers, and then it's just kind of like, oh,
I think eventually
we done goof, guys. We done goof.
It's funny because like the way they were explaining it was like CZ, Binance, and these guys were kind of like cowboys where the operations just got so big, out of control. Like they were not maliciously trying to do that, but they
didn't know how to do processes. Yeah, clearly.
Well, like they almost paid it like, oh, it's not a big deal, kind of vibes, right?
Ignorance.
And it is a big deal. And interestingly enough, they're specifically talking about America because it's the SEC and the US attorney. Which the reason I'm saying that is, it's not to say that this is not occurring in other countries as well, right? That have laws like that too. But the SEC specifically has cracked down pretty hard on cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And they have the resources to be able to do an investigation like this to do it. But I think my main thing for this is like, it's just for those that are in crypto for the right reasons. I don't know what that is. But like for the technology and the implementation and the adoption, this just kicks the can down the road because of the age. If you see all the news there and your granddad looks at it now, he thinks cryptocurrency is by scammers now. Completely, right? Like
100%.
They don't want to adopt it because, hold up, you mean to tell me FTX and Binance, the two biggest consumer cryptocurrencies, they're both behind jail? Yes, they are. And they did bad things. And it almost makes me feel like why is this the case? And can we ever have like good actors in these spots? Because the technology, the underlying technology and the concept is not bad. And irony, it's that technology and concept which allowed them to be caught, which shows the record keeping element of it.
It's hilarious. The fact that people aren't keeping a hold of the tech or control of it in a way that, you know, will still bode well for them or bode well for like society in general and stuff.
Yeah.
They're clearly not capable of doing that. So it's kind of, you got to look to be thinking of, it can't just be surely one person. It has to be a cohort of people with different skill sets to be able to execute on these things and, you know, these blind spots, because otherwise, if you're to the same point where we're saying with this Optus CEO probably needs to have a tech background in it, it's in the same way that you would surely hopefully think that amongst tech and AI and information, like, you would have people that are now understanding the legal ramifications, the ethics of it all, because it is going to come. Like, if you are at the forefront of the development of this emerging tech, you have to be
industry.
You can't run from it and think it's like, oh, it's not a big deal, until, oh, it is a big deal. Oh, you know, like,
Binance is like a Chinese company, right? And so
they run at the beat of their own
no,
drum.
but like, I think you're right, and like, it actually, ironically, everything that we've said ties together.
Whereas I did that.
we are at the point where the rate of innovation is running much quicker,
exponentially,
than the rate and basically
of comprehension, adoption.
The laws and the ethics are not catching up at the same rate. No. So I'm not like, what do you call it, condoning what's happened, but like, you're having individuals whose sole purpose is to make profit, and they're good at it, right? And to a certain case, do you think the people, like the people that invest money in Binance, care about this? To a degree, they don't care, as long as
it's directly impacting them.
Yeah, as long as their money is secure, they're getting their returns, they sell, the orders is sold, and they're not like illiquid like FTXs. They don't give a fuck about this. People don't.
Yeah.
Because when you invest in it, you only are about the numbers. You're not about the ethics on it.
100%.
So those individuals that are running these companies, that's the same way they view it. However, we're not operating in a vacuum where these things can't be considered.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just goes to show that, yeah, like the risk management, the processes and all those elements need to catch up. But again, I'm almost empathetic, because a lot of these are running at the rates where laws are not even made for these. Like these things that are happening at the moment, and
because they don't understand it.
It's not to say, yeah. So this element, you could say black and white. Maybe they didn't understand it, or they did and they just didn't care about it, which is outright breaking the law.
Or you don't have the right people to be able to inform it.
And that's because that's just not, like, these business guys are just not wired that way, right? Like, they are wired just to make money,
long term, baby.
Anyway, it's easy. You bad boy.